Define what excellence as an entrepreneur looks like to you. How would you define that?
It's being the best that you can be, right? So everybody has what they can do. And if you're falling short of your own level of your own standard, then you're not being excellent. I think if you're doing the best that you can be, if you're learning at the best pace you can do, that's the level of excellence you need to bring. The difficult bit is sustaining it.
But how do you know you're really being excellent in the first place? Like, is it just, how do you measure that as an individual? What do you do to measure it?
I mean, a lot of the times it's about the objective feedback you get from those around you. So it's leadership looking at you as somebody who's also leading alongside them. It's about your team trusting in you, believing in you, and following you, right? There's no point being a leader if you're the one striding out alone and there's like nobody following on behind you because there's a bit of a wasteland because everybody else is doing often their own thing. So there is an element of, trust. Have you built up the trust from those around you? And then the second thing I think really about excellence is your own expectations. Like, we all have our ambitions about what we want to do. We have our own targets about what we do. Are you living up to that, or are you falling short of it?
What do you do for yourself to see if you're living up to that, if you're setting your own standards? And then also, how do you avoid all the noise that's out there right now where, it's very, look, a lot of what we see online in social media, of course, is not reality, but you still see it, and it's probably hard to not judge yourself against it.
Absolutely. We're judging ourselves all the time, aren't we? We are our own harshest critics. We don't really need the rest of social media to be telling us how bad we are when the little voice in the back of our shoulders kind of telling us that all the time anyway. How do I keep myself sane through all of that? I think the main thing is that I make sure I've got a good idea of what I want to achieve myself, where I want my goals to go. I read a lot, but I read a lot broadly, not just sort of the tech social media. I read finance, I read the news, I read politics. So I try and keep up with a whole lot of other different areas because I think it's very easy to end up in that little sort of tech bubble. What's happening in the valley, what's happening around us, what's happening in the tech world. But I think we need to look around at the wider picture as well. What's happening in business, what's happening with macroeconomics, what's happening with the war that's going on at the moment. And that helps to sort of balance and put things in perspective.
So I agree with you, that does put things in perspective a lot. But then as a CTO, what does that actually mean in your day-to-day job? Like, how are you as a CTO or CTOs that you work with being able to stay focused and try to stay balanced when there's more stuff changing? I mean, we talked right before we kicked this off, like there's so much changing in the past 6 months than maybe in anyone's ever career. In staying ahead of that and on top of it is so difficult.
It is. And I think a lot of the way to help cope with that is about community. It's about talking to other people at the same, similar, or roughly around about the same level as where you're at. So whether that's mentors, whether it's a social circle, whether it's a community of other CTOs, so that you can balance that against real grounded conversations, what people are actually doing and the real things they're facing. Because what we see on social media is like the very, very best version of ourselves. We give out the bright lights and the good version of it. But the reality for most of it is we're all carrying doubts. We've all got screw-ups in our putts. We've all got things we're challenging with. There's somebody on our back for something. And just being able to talk about those things and remind ourselves and each other that it's okay, that's normal. That's a fairly good part of helping balance and work out, okay, look, if my problems are like that and his problems are like that, I'm probably roughly on the right path.